Aloha and welcome to this lesson on lab safety and procedures. My name is Mrs. Clayton, and today we will be working on 1.2 guided, which is posted on Canvas. Now, everybody should be working on their homework spiral, and this is a great way to get organized and be prepared for class. Now, you will be taking notes, 2-column notes on the right pages, and I'm going to show you what mine look like. So here I have a copy of my notes that I've already taken, and you see that I have divided the page into a left and a right side. And I just wrote down rules 1 through 13 on this side, right? And then when I ran out of space, because we do have 20 that we have to go over, I just started on the next right page, and this will help me keep my work organized. So when we are done taking our notes, I will come back and I will show you what my final notebook look like. Okay, so we are ready to begin. We are going to be going over our lab safety and procedures. Make sure that you are ready to take your notes. You will need about 15 minutes to complete this lesson, and the PowerPoint is attached to the assignment so that you can always just go back and review what we have discussed in this lesson today. So, safety rule number 1, I'm sure you have heard this, wear your eye protection and lab apron or coat. It's very important that if you wear contact lenses, that you do not wear them when we are doing an activity that is going to release some kind of fumes or something could fall in your eye. If you have regular glasses, like I always wear glasses, then those are okay. But we do also have the larger safety goggles that go over your glasses so that you can wear those. We also have lab coats and we have aprons. The aprons are plastic meant to protect your clothing on the inside. And then these are meant to keep anything away from your skin. Our lab safety rule number 2 is not to wear loose clothing. So anything that you have that's dangling, keys, jacket, little ties, everything has to go inside and protected. If you have long hair, you got to tie up your hair. So you will usually see my hair is tied up, and wear closed-toe shoes, no Crocs. And if you have a special activity during school where you're going to be wearing something like, fancy shoes, please bring a change of shoes so that you are safe while we are in our classroom. Safety rule number 3, read all instructions before starting an experiment and make sure that you know what is expected and that everybody in your group has a role and know what they are doing. Do not wait until I say, okay, are we ready to go? To then ask questions. Ask questions during the modeling phase of the lab activity. Safety rule number 4, do not eat, drink, or chew gum at any time during this class. I clean the classroom before, you have to clean it during, and you have to clean after. There is no food whatsoever. If we have food or a classroom is dirty, the ants move in, roaches move in, spiders move in, who knows what else moves in, and we are not trying to have anything crawl into your book bag or you take anything home or bring anything in. So if you are coming from VSAT or PE and your shoes are dirty, we do have brooms so that we can pick up the dirt. But for the most part, I keep the classroom as clean as possible. It also helps with our custodians. And again, it keeps from cross-contamination and critters moving in. Safety rule number 5, conduct yourself in a responsible and respectful manner during lab experiment. Do not get removed. Do not get kicked out. Turner Tech is a magnet-only school, which means that any major behavior issues are referred, and if it continues to be a problem, you will be sent back to your home school. So please, stay with us. There's no horseplay, no jokes, no pranks, because we don't want anybody to get hurt and we don't want anything to be broken. Safety rule number 6, use lab equipment for designated purposes. So I don't know why I have to review this, but when you're passing scissors, don't pass them this way. What happens if somebody bumps into you? You don't want to accidentally stab anybody. So make sure that your scissors, you are passing them safely. And meter sticks, don't swing them around. I don't know why people get entertained, even with pens, you're going like this, you're twirling it around. So Be mindful of what you are doing with your hands. When we are using scaffolds, you're definitely not going to be playing around with those. But I will train you on everything that we use when we are using it. Safety rule number 7, and this is attached to an activity that you're going to be doing in class. Know the locations and how to use all classroom safety equipment. So you will be doing a scavenger hunt. You will be sketching out the classroom. You will be figuring out where our safety items are. Where are the doors? Where are the windows? Where is a fire extinguisher? Do we have a fire blanket? Is there a shower? Where are the sinks? Do we have soap? Do we have hand sanitizer? So all of these things are already set up for you in the classroom, and you have to figure out where they are. Rule number 8, report any and all injuries to your teacher. Minor, major, you think somebody cut themselves, you think somebody may have been burned. I know that sometimes people want to be tough. You see this, like I sliced my finger yesterday, and I wasn't trying to. I didn't think it was a big deal, but it bled for a really, really long time. So be very, very mindful of cuts. And then usually we just, if it's a paper cut, we want to wash them and we want to sanitize them as quickly as we can. Safety rule number 9, never, ever, ever perform unauthorized experiments. I know that some of you want to know what happens if, but always ask. If we have time at the end, I usually do let you, conduct additional extensions, but don't do them without permission, okay? Number 10, never reach across open flames. Fire is something that I highly fear, so we use hot plate. But if we're doing a demo or we're doing something with open flames, make sure you do not reach across. Make sure that you are mindful of where the open flames are so that you can remain safe. Rule number 10, never touch, taste, or smell any chemicals if you need to smell a chemical. So let's assume this is a chemical. Don't just stick your nose like this. The way that we smell things in science is we kind of like fan them to our nose, like in a very fancy way, okay? There are some gases that are very dense, so they stay right on top of the liquid. And if you go like this and take a big whiff, especially if it's something like ammonia where you can't really smell it, it is going to irritate all of your respiratory tract. If you've got asthma, it's a very bad day for you. So make sure that you follow all of the instructions given. And again, every time that we do an activity, I will show you exactly which one of these rules you have to be mindful of. Rule number 12, any and all spills. So let's say that you were like illegally drinking something and it spilled. Please tell me. We have plenty of rags. We have plenty of cleaning materials. So do not just let a spill be there because you don't want to get in trouble, because we also don't want anybody to fall. Rule number 13, if there's a chemical splash in your eyes, like vinegar in your eye, you must rinse them with water. I have temporary eye wash stations. You have sinks that work in your stations, and we also have a sink in the back. There's an eye wash station. So we have a lot of places where you can rinse your eyes, but you've got to pick yours and you got to get to it. If you need help, that's what your peers are for. That's what I'm here for. And we will help you rinse out your eyes. Safety rule number 4, check all of the beakers and all of the lab equipment before you use it. Okay, we have several kinds of beakers. The ones that we heat up have the name Pyrex on them, and it's blue. So those are really thick and really strong. The number one way that people break glasses in the classroom and break beakers and test tube is by just placing them down too hard. So we have a plastic tray that they go on to kind of like, buffer the difference in between heat and cold. But always check your equipment. And if it breaks because you cooled it too quickly, then let me know right away. There's a special way to dispose them because we don't want the custodians to get hurt when they pick up the trash. So I have to tape them up, I have to wrap them up in cardboard, and then I have to dispose of them. Okay, number 15, use caution when you're using sharp objects. This includes scissors, pencils, scalpels, and anything else that may look like it cuts you. Number 16, never perform experiments that cause pain, discomfort, harm to animals. This includes tapping on glass, sticking things inside the tanks or the cages. Be very mindful of other life that is in our classroom, to include your peers. And also be nice to our plants. Don't water them with things that are not appropriate because we are trying to conduct a respectful environment. Number 17, report any known allergies to plants, flowers, seeds, mold, like peanuts, strawberries, or animals, anything that you may think of. Always, always discuss with your parents, like, hey, we're going to be doing this next class. Do I have anything that I should be concerned about? Because your parents usually know all of your history, and you're just getting to know it. If you have to have an EpiPen, please, please make sure that you have it on you and that I know in case of emergencies. And if you have to have an inhaler, make sure that you bring your inhaler to class. Number 18, wash your hands during, before, after, when you come in. There's plenty of soap. We have a nice, amazing sink that works. We've got towels to wash your hands before, wash your hands during activities, and everything, rinse everything at the end. You don't want to cross-contaminate, and you don't want to take anything home that you should not. Lab safety rule number 19, unplug, dispose, and wash anything that needs to be washed as you're instructed. So every time that we do a lab activity, I will tell you, okay, this needs to be disposed this way. This needs to be disposed that way. Rinse this out, throw this out. You've got to make sure that you follow those procedures. And when you are unplugging something, make sure that it's off first. Okay, so microscopes, hot plates, make sure that they are off, as well as our digital scales. They run on batteries, so just make sure that you turn them off before you walk away from the stations. And the last one, rule number 20, your mom does not work here, you do. So clean up your mess when you are done, and actually clean up as you go along so there's less clutter and less to dispose of. Speaking of clutter, as you are working, make sure that your lab safety station is picked up. That means everything should go in your book bag, and your book bag should go under your table, away from the aisles, so that when everybody else is walking, nobody is getting hurt. If you have any questions, add them at the end of your notes. So if there's something that I didn't answer, or something that your parents want to know, or maybe you just want to know if we're going to do some kind of experiment. So any kind of question that you have right now for me, go ahead and write them, because I will be reviewing your notes. So it's easy for me to see them, and then I can answer right away. If you forget to add them to your notes, you can also add them to the comments on your assignment. Ready for part 2? I'm going to explain part 2, and then I'm going to show you my notebook so that you can see how it looks. Okay. So for part 2, and this goes on the left pages. So on your right pages, you should have your notes. And then on your left pages is where you show your original work. You're going to copy these questions, and then you're going to answer them. So the first thing is to come up with your 5, but I want you to come up with 5 really, really good ones. Okay, keep them short, because people don't like all this talking and all this writing. So keep them short. And what are your 5 basic rules? You're going to be making a little poster in class when we come back next time. So make sure that you do your 5 rules so that you can get your class grade. Also, why is it important to tie your hair if you have long hair? Why should your teacher know if you have any allergies? What should you do if you're not sure of a procedure? Where is a good place to keep your book bag during science class? Now, if you watch this video, I gave you the answer. When is it appropriate to be on your phone during class? Now, for this one, I'm going to help you out, because if we are researching something, or you're documenting something, like you're timing, or you are recording what's happening, then or you're taking pictures along the way, that is an appropriate time to use your phone. It is not an appropriate time to be texting back and forth, or to be on Snapchat, or whatever you guys use. But whatever you're using, this is not the time to do it. This is not the time to receive phone calls either. And when should you place your phone in a safe location during class, especially when we are dealing with water, anything that could be cross-contaminated chemicals. So basically, like if your lab equipment has to go on, your phone has to be put away. What is one good way to document lab activities and results? This is up to you. And what should you do if someone in your group collected data but is not sharing it with you? Who is responsible for your safety and learning? It is not just you. It's you, me, your parents, your peers. It's all of us, because it takes all of us too, okay? Make sure you take good, legible picture of your work and you submit it on Canvas. So I'm sharing what my notes look like now that I finished taking my notes. And like the first page, I ran out of space. So then I went to the next right page. And you see how I left my left one empty? So make sure that you do that. And then for the practice part, what I did is I copied down the questions. It is a good idea to copy down the questions. I know that some of you guys hate writing and hate writing the questions, but this will help you think through the questions as you are writing them. And then, of course, this is on my left page, and then my notes are right there. So convenient when we're working through content. Okay, and then you see over here my little section for questions. So nice and easy. You should be able to complete all of your work, and you should have a great study guide, and you should have a product that you can use in class. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you next time, and please don't forget to submit your work.